guys, I'm Kong, and in today's video, me and Charles, one of the best players in the game, is going to have a PvP discussion. I hope you like it. Enjoy. Bro, which teams do you think are the best in the Plat Arena right now?
I mean, it's kinda obvious that the best team right now is Water Sniper, and you put some nature, and the type of the team is always the same lately. I mean, at least if you want a solid team that can work basically against everyone or almost everyone. The thing is, right now, since the meta is kinda stable for a while, sometimes you can also see some counter lineups like some Splendor, but mostly you will see Aquarion, Wave, and Cat Bunny. And I think
Yeah,
they're good.
water dominating this patch for sure, I think. Ursi Wave, even after the nerf, is a very solid crit to use.
I mean, it's more
But
of
the
a
problem
buff,
is,
not a nerf, if you think about it.
yeah, because if you play against a fire without negates, you're doing pretty high damage. If
Even
you
with
land the
negate,
paralyze,
even with negate is super good. Yeah.
yeah, because you're doing very high damage. And but the problem is not everyone is playing Cat Bunny or Aquarion or Urswave. There is many virus teams, and if you decide to play counter like Splendor, most of the time it doesn't work. So what I was thinking to abuse, for the whatever time is left for the tournament, so I can qualify, is Dr. Penny because of the high physical defense. Since there is a lot of players who are abusing Blighted Cup as an opener, and even if they open with Blighted Cup, you're okay. If they open with Aquarion, they negate or switch, and you're still okay. If they open with any PA crit, you're okay. So I think that's the best opener right now if you're not playing Aquaron or Blighted Cup. What do you think about that?
I don't know about that because usually with those meta teams especially, what you expect as start is either Monkey or Light Twigum, which are both elementals, and Dark Tulipini would lose the 1v1. Um, Also, I think it's the start is all a matter of speed or predicting your opponent. You feel me? Also, I don't think that Bicab as an opener is a big of a problem because I see only some people playing it, and it doesn't really work as intended. Because, for example, I sometimes run into Sammy playing Bicab as an opener, and sometimes also Anant from TW. And Bicab hits, you hit back, and he's forced to switch, and he doesn't even have the snipe advantage. So unless the lineup is super counter, Bicab as an opener is, it's not really that good. So I think the tool
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
is not really the best start you can have, but for sure is the
Mhm.
most painful against Aquarion. That's for sure.
So you think that Blighted? So guys, now you probably wonder why I speed up the video. By the way, this is 100x because me and Charles and Taganochi from Phoenix had a conversation for 40 minutes in which mostly I was just repeating my points, and in the end me and Taganochi tested 1v1. I used Blighted Cup, and yeah, I got humbled. B Cup is not the best opener either, the best crit. He is just a normal crit. I was wrong. I think he deserves a nerf. I don't know if you agree with that.
Okay, you have to think about something though, because I agree that Aquarion himself alone is really strong, but you also have to think about that he's a legendary, and an Aquarion comp is not comparable to, for example, an Ursi Wave comp. Because yes, Aquarion has more value than Ursi Wave, but the rest of the team won't have the same value as the rest of Ursi Wave's team. For example, I'm taking Ursi Wave as an example, but same goes for Cat Bunny and same goes for Nanaslug. So yes, maybe Aquarion is a bit too much by himself, but he's a legendary, and when you split this into 4 crits, so you take the whole lineup as the example and not the single crit, I don't think it's the best crit or the best comp in the game.
Fair.
It's
Fair
really
opinion, I
strong.
would
It's
say.
really strong. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know about a nerf, because if they nerf Aquarion, honestly, I think I would just go for an Ursi Wave comp and dip it.
I can agree fully with you. I mean, even when they was talking about Blighted Flower nerf, I was defending that she is legendary and she deserves to be strong.
Yeah.
So of course the same goes to Aquarion, but well, how I can say it, for me he can bring value in every game. Even if your opponent is playing 3 or 4 crits with negates, he can bring you so much value. And if you don't play any nature sniper, you know to any anyhow to trade back any damage. He's just doing crazy thing and he's doing crazy impact on the game, and he can bring you so much value, especially as
I'll
an opponent.
I'll say this. Everything looks OP until you try it.
All right, fair.
That's my answer. Everything looks OP until you try it, and it's not only for you; it's also for me, because I was playing Aquarion, and in my opinion, Cat Bunny lineups was better. So I built Cat Bunny. Now I play Cat Bunny, and I think Ursi Wave is the best from the all trees, and also Nanaslag is really solid. And I'm sure that if I build the Ursi Wave, I would say, okay, mid pack, let's move on to the next one. You feel me? I think that that's a bit subjective, but when you put it into the objective view of the things, I think, as I said, Aquarion himself is really strong, but it's not that hard to counter, because, as you said 4 negates and he still brings good value. Best he can do is win a massive 1v1 and maybe hit twice the next crit. But the other crits are supposed to lose to the others, because if you're trading Aquarium with an epic and maybe you give 2 shots to the next crit, then your crits will have issues against the others, because they're supposed to be weaker. They will have less stats points. That's what I think about Aquarion. I think the crit is good, and I think the best way to balance Aquarion is balance what you put around him, because
Yeah,
touching the
yeah.
crit is so risky. You remove 2 AP from him and it's unusable, literally.
Yeah, I also agree that the things are very different until you try them, and
Yeah, you
especially
just
now.
got a proof.
Yeah. But that's the thing. That's why I like to do this PvP discussion, because especially now with the current state of the game, with our plat income, if you're not paying crazy money, it's a rare situation that you can have every meta crit and to know for sure what's up. And yeah, Aquaron is a very interesting. I'm I don't know if they are going to nerf it, but yeah, I should. I need to try it for myself. Maybe after our discussion, I can log in into the account and try it. But yeah,
Yeah, it's good, don't get me wrong. You will feel that when he has a good matchup, it's not a good matchup, it's a massacre. But it's not magic stuff that you play Aquarion and you smash everyone.
uh,
It's probably the best crit himself right now. and the challenge, let's say that the challenge is building a good Aquarion team, which I also find issues because I played him with a couple lineups and it's not as good as it looks, as broken as it looks, but it's for sure the most solid crate right now.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you still have 7 points to build a team around him, and
Yeah, it's not a lot though.
especially now with Nerlope, and you're having basically a 5 EA crit for 1 point, and you're having a space for 2 epics. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty solid.
yeah. I think I don't think that two epics and one common is the best one though. I
You can do
think
one rare and one exotic.
Yeah, I think the when you play Aquarion, I think the fire matters the most. So you have to pick a really solid fire, and I think you only have choice between Dorks and the Dark Slitero. So I think the Dark Slitero one is most solid because when you put Aquarion in front of a faster crit, let's say for example Cat Bunny, and he's obviously gonna switch because he fears to be trapped and switched in elemental disadvantage, and maybe they send a slow nature. You trap and send Dark Slitero, which is really insane value. Same thing goes for Dorks. So I don't know. It's a little tricky, but I think when you play Aquarion, the thing that matters the most is put him with a good fire.
Yeah, okay. So, do you think in the current state of the PvP there is some underrated crits or comps that are played by, let's say, one or two guys, but they are very strong and have very much potential, but none of the majority of the players have fun about it? And
Um,
don't say Ferris.
I don't know about the comps, but I can point some crits that are for sure underrated and could perform very well in this meta, or at least well. And obviously, if you mix it up, you can end up with some comps. But right now, everyone is basically playing the water sniper, and at best there is some variety on what you pair or wave Aquarion, Cat Bunny, and Nanaslag with. But I think
Yeah,
the type of the team, everyone plays the same, unless someone rage tilts and playing something goofy, or me here goes crazy and plays a 4PA, some stuff like that. I can point some single crits that are underrated in my opinion.
yes.
First of all is Felis. Believe it or not, it's crazy value for a common, and if it doesn't work, it's just a common that it's gonna die after dealing decent damage. So
Yeah, I mean,
either
of
you
course,
believe
it's
it
a
or
one
not,
pointer.
it's underrated. It's not. It doesn't mean that it's good or it's goated. It's underrated. People doesn't understand that he can be good in a lot of scenarios. For example, I think he would run a Nanaslag comp alone, but who knows? Then it's normal
There's a
Flintly.
take.
Normal Flintly is also underrated. I think. I mean, I think he deserves a small buff on his flat damage. Not the dots, but the flat
Yep,
damage.
yep.
Like 1 or 2 AP, nothing huge. Maybe 2, or maybe even 3, but let's say 2. But the crit himself is underrated. No one plays it, but I don't think it's that bad, even without the buff I mentioned. Then we have, everyone says it's OP, but no one plays it, and I can't understand why, and it's Light Bludger. Like, we can all agree that in this meta he should shine, because there's no dangerous wind running, no snipers. Uh, Most of the crits are elementals, and I don't really see Light Bludger that often, and I can't understand why. I think it's a bit underrated in the sense that people don't invest on him, but his value in this meta would be much more than his actual value.
Yeah, I can agree. I actually tried the crit the other day. He was performing like a beast. If
Yeah,
if your opponent doesn't have I don't know, some crazy wind sniper, he's performing like, I don't know, bro, crazy crit. Maybe for me that's the most underrated crit in the game right now, because no one, if you click in top 15 or top 20, no one is playing him. maybe only one player, but
Yeah, I
no
agree.
one
The problem
is
is,
giving talk about him.
yeah, the problem is that not only he suffers with sniper, but also physicals. That's the main problem, and there's a lot of people running Sledgehog, and I think he shits on him. So I can kinda see the point, but I think he's still underrated because not everyone is running physicals, or even if they're running physicals, there's no way you can't find a way out in hit and switch patterns or force somehow good 1v1s or whatever. That's what I mean.
Wait, you think that Sledge is winning 1v1 against Light Bludger?
Of course.
I tried it the other day. It wasn't that crazy much of a difference, but yeah, Sledge Codes is a crazy crit who also people don't play that much.
Maybe you don't know, but also Dark Lavarilla shits on Light Bludger 1v1.
Yeah, because Blood
Nero,
Bludger have
Nero
two.
almost kills it.
Who?
Nero
Nero almost
almost
kills
kills
Light
Light
Bludger.
Bludger. I did it with Ray Ray one day. I think he survived with one hit away, if I remember correctly.
That's crazy.
Yeah, then there's Common Flu, in my opinion, is underrated. People talking about normal Lavarilla and stuff, but I think normal Flu is. Everyone slept on him, but he doesn't look bad for a common.
Yeah, he doesn't, but he doesn't have a good second move.
I
I,
mean,
I I was also thinking about it because he looks interesting, good stat distribution, good final attack, but he doesn't have a good second.
I think he would perform decently even without a second, though. But everyone just skip him. And then I think Blab is really underrated. A crit that has double spam, good damage, tons of HP, and it's physical. I think, and it's a common 1 point. So I think he should shine a bit more. Not a
Yeah,
good
Red
crit,
is
but not
using
bad for
him a lot.
sure. I mean, Redna used it, but for example, against me, he just stood and fought. I think you should abuse him for spam more than everything right now.
And he does it, trust me.
With
He
me, he
does.
didn't, but okay, yes, I can see the point. And then one crit that I'm playing, and I think it's underrated, it's Fangli. I played a lot of games with Fangli lately, and he performs decently. His hard lock is
Even
really
after
good
the
to
nerf.
punish, and yeah, because especially in a Cat Bunny matchup, if you have something to give him and you reset the speed, then you put Fangli in front of Cat Bunny, and it's basically a free trap and switch out. It's really good.
Yeah. I saw some people that are playing Fangli with Charloco, the 35 relic. Do you think that's a good idea?
I play him with Carpet, but I think also Rudolph is good. Yeah, both good scenarios. I mean, I think if you can't be a speed resetter or a slow crit red speed with 1 bar, so you have 2 bars,
Mhm.
you'd rather go S plus and avoid the snipes because you're gonna snipe anyway, so at least you avoid snipe back. That's what I think. Not every
Mhm.
scenario, but most scenarios, I think that's the best option. So I think Rudolph may be a bit better, but Carpet works also.
Yeah, I agree. So I have the same underrated crits except Flu because I don't think he can work with Bash as a second move. But of course, someone have to try it,
I
so we
have the
can know
last
for
one
sure.
though, the last underrated one.
Yeah, which is it?
Common Bludger. Just
No
imagine,
way, bro.
bro, just imagine a common crit with 260 HP that hits with his final move for 45, maybe 50, depends on the opponent, but let's say 45 mainly. And
Yeah,
it's
but
a fucking common and has negate. And
well, but
good
if you're
elemental
playing
defense
against like
also.
yeah, but if you're playing against a PA attacker, he's gonna be fucked.
Yeah, but it's a common, who cares?
I can see the value that he's bringing, but I wouldn't test it. But I see the value for sure. It's crazy if you meet him in arena with 250 HP.
Yeah, it's you know, and it's a fucking common, and it's gonna tank for so long, especially against elementals, and he can punish elementals with low physical defense. I don't think he
Yeah,
wins. He really wins matchups or long 1v1s or whatever. But it's really good to punish and to, let's say, you try to fight him and you end up trading an exotic for a common, or leaving with 50 HP with your exotic just to kill a common. You feel me? That's what I mean. And
yeah,
also, the hit and switch scenarios are really interesting. When you can't manipulate the speed and you just sacrifice his health, even if the trade is not worth for you. So let's say the opponent is dealing 60 and you're dealing 50. It's still good because you have tons of HP, and so if the opponent has 200 HP and you had 260, even if you lose 10 HP per turn, it's basically a favorable trade. So I think
yeah.
it's underrated. Not a good crit for sure, but for sure it's underrated and slept on. And Josh said about Commons Litero. Uh, I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
that's
that
one
good.
of the problems that we don't have many options for good elemental fire attackers that are slow and cheap, and we don't have many options for that like the other attributes. I can, I mean, in the tournament, in the clan tournament, Chris and Bran was using him against TCR, and he was performing good. But
Yeah, I think his point on PA should go on HP, and that would make him playable. Or maybe a bit more than playable. Right now it's mid pack, you would take it only because it's a common and you have no choice, but there's no way he's good.
yeah, but what if, for example, we had this discussion with me, Taga, MC, and Trugo? What, for example, what I proposed is to remove 1 point from PD and put it in the EA, remove 1 point from PA and put it in HP, and remove the negate for something else like poison, for example. Do you think that will balance the crit and make it as much as playable as Nazi, for example? Because they're doing the same things, but different attributes.
I don't like removing negate from him, and the problem with commons is that their stats are so low that unless the common is same stat spread as Nessie, there's no way that
Hmm.
he's good. Unless he has some weird kit with tons of damage or double spam or something like that. So yes, he would be good, but it would be the fire Nessie. You feel me? I think we need something more. Could work.
I
If
see.
you ask me if it could work, obviously it could work, but I don't know. That's not the way we should think about uh, common buffs, in my opinion. Because otherwise, in order to make good commons, they should be all the same, and it's Nessie stat spread, literally.
Hmm. Yeah. The crits. Yeah, I agree with everything except flu. But for me, the most personal, the most underrated crit that you didn't mention.
Hmm?
I will start with. For me, this is a more like a tournament crit, but Shelby, because if you know that your opponent is going to play Blighted Flu or any crit without a negate, he can bring you a crazy value for 1 point.
I think
Shelby.
Blighted Flu out damages you.
No, he doesn't. I tried it already.
Okay, I'm not sure, but 1 point on PD, I think Blighted Flu is not the best scenario as you want. But yeah, I can see the value of bringing a common just to delete maybe an expensive fire. Yeah, I can see it. I mean that it's a risk. It's a risk because
Yeah, of course, of
you
course,
have
of
to
course.
take it thinking that you will meet something like a fire that you want to snipe, and if you don't have it, you're playing with almost one less crit, in my
Yeah, of
opinion.
course. That's why I said a tournament crit. And for non-tournament crits, in general, I think that Dark Snortus is the most overrated water crit in the game. This crit
Overrated?
underrated.
Okay, you said overrated.
Oh my bad. This crit have confused low. His last move is a 40 AP attack that heals you for 12 HP and raise your attacks by 5. And you have Hydro for a second attack, so if you want, you can do a good critical because he have 3 elemental attack. And the crit is crazy. He have 4 HP, he have 3 AD, 4 PA, 1 speed. What do you think about him?
We need hybrid relics, and then we can talk about it. Right now, absolutely not. He would end up being either a tank and some mid pack, or simply being faster than everyone.
Yeah, hybrid relics are a very big problem
Yeah.
in the game right now. We don't have good relics. But I was thinking about it and I couldn't because I was thinking of a good hybrid relics. Do you have any idea of how they can look or things?
Sorry, can you repeat? I didn't understand.
Do you have any idea of how the new, if there is new hybrid relics should look like so the hybrids can be doing good?
Um, I mean, it would look obvious, but both attacks minus 10 speed and probably some HP.
Yeah, so maybe without the defenses, but more in one stat. Depends if you want to make him with more attack or defenses.
Yeah, I think that because right now, I mean, since Minato came, he tried to make the game in a sort of way that you have to choose. You can't have everything, which which I like it in a in a sort of way. I like the idea. So if you want to use a hybrid, so you want to use both attacks, then dip the defenses. If you want to be a tank, okay, then you won't have a big amount of attack. If you only want a good elemental defense, you have to dip the physical defense, and then you will get punished by physical attackers. If you want both, just split the stat. You won't have both. Same goes for the immunities. You only have one, and I think that works. I think it's a good way to think the balance, the overall balance.
Yeah, yeah. Alright, let's continue with the next question. Just let me. Daga mentioned to Chris Valentino and Mama. I agree with Mama, but not with Valentino. For me, Valentino is dog shit.
I don't know. I haven't tried it. I have one plat trained, but I haven't tried it, so I can't really say. And about Mama, I can see the point of her being underrated. It would work, especially in this meta. Simply you remove Light Twigam or whatever and just put Mama, it would work.
I see. Okay. So now we are going to do the same thing as we did with Ludix.
Okay.
You're going to say, I'm going to ask you the attributes until you're going to say the best Chris from that attribute as much as you want.
Okay, what do you mean with attribute?
Fire, nature,
Oh, okay,
earth.
the element.
Yeah, element. I used the Yu-Gi-Oh term. Never mind.
Okay.
Okay, so now, I want us to discuss about the best crits of each element. Let's start with water. Which crits do you think are the best from water?
The snipers for sure. So Aquarion, Ursi Wave, uh, Cat Bunny, Nanaslug. Um, I think also Nessie is still a decent option for a common, even if they nerfed
Yes,
it.
yes.
And what else? Let me open the Miscripedia so I see everyone. Who else? Waddles, common Waddles is a spam machine. I think it would work sometimes. Snorkels is a good tournament crit.
Yeah, I like snorkels very much.
The
I
common
was
one, I
about
mean.
to mention it.
The common one, I mean.
The
The
common
the rare
snorkels.
snorkel, sorry, the rare
Yeah, the
snorkels.
rare. Yeah, the rare. Yeah.
Yeah. Then what do we have? Yeah, I already mentioned the Earthsea Wave. Yeah, Nanaslag, Foil Waddles is a bit of aspec. Yeah, it's an exotic
Maybe
also.
Bubbles. He is also
Yeah,
a good
Bubbles
common.
Bubbles is more than playable in my opinion. It's
I
a
think he is
decent
better
option.
than Nessie.
Uh, yes, in this elemental meta, maybe yes. You have to put some physical coverage, but it can perform well, better for sure. It's a bit of a more of a risk, but if you don't get punished for the low PD, I think it's good. Yeah. Then I don't
Um,
know. Lil Bubs looks kinda interesting, but I don't really know if it
I
would
tried it.
perform.
I tried. I mean, it's not all that, bro. It looks very good on paper, bro.
Okay. Also, Ekult looks interesting, but we need to wait for the new relics because right now it wouldn't shine as intended. Then we have, I think Dark Spinneret is still playable. It's still a solid crit. I already
Yeah.
mentioned Aquarion.
What about Dark Shelby?
S.
You think so?
Yeah, 3 immunities. I mean, immunities as secondary move for a sniper. No negate, no really good secondary move, just a deep sleep and no physical coverage and really low HP. I think it's completely useless.
Well, yeah, but we have to take into consideration that before 4 or 5 months, Light Snorkels was one of the best crits. Of course, he have many other things like
Oh wait, you said
uh, gr-
light snorkels or dark Shelby?
I asked you first about the Dark Shelby.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because now you said light snorkels and I thought I misunderstood and I said the light snorkels was shit. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Before 5 or 4 months, Light Snorkels was one of the best crits in the game. Of course, he had many other things like glue and good second attack. But in other hand, Dark Shelby costs 2 points, and he is doing more damage than 2 times more damage than like Snorkels. So don't you think that he can see some play or no?
Nah, I don't think so. Twice the damage. What do you mean? Because he doesn't have damage on secondary move and he doesn't have um, secondary effect. So he lacks 2 ways of damage he could have. He has 5 AA, but how is gonna use it with uh, confuse immunity, sleep immunity, paralyze immunity, and anti-heal immunity? You know what? How is it supposed to work? Also no negate, and as I mentioned, not secondary move. I don't know. It just looks terrible.
Yeah, but how much you can ask from a rare? I mean, of,
Mm,
but
more
actually,
than this for
actually,
sure.
the
More than this for sure. Just take a look
and
at
thought about
snorkels. That's what I want from a rare,
yeah.
for
I
example,
was
if you
about to
want
say
a
that.
comparison. And also the last one, I think it's Dark Squibby. It got buffed recently
Yeah,
and it looks interesting.
I was about to ask you about him.
Yeah, it's. I don't know, I haven't tried so I can't really speak, but in paper he looks really good for a rare.
Yep, he does negate sleep. Uh, 30 AP with 10 poison gazer. Insane stat distribution.
I mean, not insane
Him
because he has that point on PA that pisses me off,
for
but
rare.
it's
Yes,
good,
same,
it's
bro.
good. Good
Yeah, I
stat
think that.
distribution.
Yeah, I think that's from Waters.
Yeah, moving into fire, I would say Dark Flu is for sure more than viable. Then underrated for in my opinion, Flintly is a bit underrated.
Yeah,
Also, commonly Terra is slightly playable simply because sometimes you have no option.
yep.
So I can see it being good. Inferno looks really good on his stats and on his moves. I haven't tried it, but I think it would be a solid option.
I mean, he's certainly look on paper. Of course, he doesn't have any gate, but other than that, he have 5 out of 5 PA, 3 defenses each, 4 HP. That's insane.
Yeah, it's good. Then I think also Freedom could be. Uh, I don't know. Maybe it's a bit underrated because 5 AD in this meta is something I wouldn't sleep on. But also he's an exotic dual non-negate, so I don't know. I think I don't know. Nah, maybe it's just dog shit. Let's cut this.
Yeah, I will.
Okay, moving on. Maybe Lavazard is also interesting.
Yeah, he got buffed recently as well.
Yeah, it's a good crit in my opinion. The new ninja crit Shuriken, I think it kinda sucks.
Yeah, Avant very sadly because he have insane design and he have to suck like that.
Yeah. Foil Flint, I think, is one of the best fighters right now, hands down.
Yep. And by the
Um,
way, for the new players, Foil Flinty is good in PvP, PvA, and in global boss. So he's a very good investment.
yeah.
If someone,
Then I think Dorks is probably also. Um, Maybe Dorks is the best fire right now, but it's not only
you think
because he's a
so?
fire, but because he's also a thunder, and he punishes a lot of crits.
You think Dorks is the best fire in the game right now? The best.
I don't know. I think if you think about how the meta is splitted right now with the water snipers, etc., I think Dorks makes the
Bro, give
best job.
me give me a second. Wait, sorry. Sorry,
Yeah,
give
don't
me a
worry, don't worry.
second.
Man, it's so late. I have to eat also. Fuck Kong. He took 1 hour just to understand Bikabi's ass.
Sorry, bro. Tomorrow I got exam and my
Don't
grandma
worry, don't
asked me
worry,
when she wakes me up.
don't worry. I was saying about Dorks. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of risky to say he's the best. But for me, if I have to pick a fire, first thing I would think is would Dorks fit? Honestly.
I don't really see it to be honest, but because of all the water snipers that are played right now, and with his 2 ED, I don't know. But he's
Yeah,
good, of course.
I have, I can see your point, but I think he still brings a lot of value because of the double move, the huge damage, then chaos, negate, sleep, and then he's a physical coverage, which is something that people sleep on. But one thing you can do with Dorks is gamble for good elemental defense bonuses and go for boss relic and water shield or stony shield, how is it called right now, and you will end up having a solid elemental defense and also a good physical coverage. That's why I think he's really he's solid. He's I mean, he doesn't really have big issues. That's what I think
Yeah,
about Dorks. Then I
yeah.
think Dark Stingwing is something interesting for tournaments, but it kind of sucks if I think it globally or PA oriented. Then Light
Hmm.
Dixie is always good to punish people that doesn't have answer to bleed. It's really insane. Then Light Ignis, I think it's good in this meta because he simply punishes the other water comps because simply you snipe their crits and you don't get sniped by any of this water because none of them is 5 speed. Then Dark
Yeah.
Lavarilla is still one of the most solid options if you don't know what rare to put. Really insane value. And then I think the best fight is not Dorux, but it's Dark Slitero. Now that I see it, I
Yeah,
think
I agree.
there's no
Yeah.
discussion. Dark Slitero is probably the best.
And
I
here
didn't see
again,
it.
you have this 1 point in PA that pisses me off.
Yeah.
And
Then
what about Blighted Floor?
uh, he will never be bad simply because he hits like a truck. But also, I don't think he shines in this meta because the water snipers just abuse him. And it's a legendary, you can't really afford to use it as a speed resetter and eat snipes. You have to do something better, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think it's the Biflu meta right now.
Yep, I agree. Yeah.
Then moving on to
Um,
natures. Sorry if I go a bit quick Hong, but it's getting too late. I have to
no,
eat
no, it's
still.
okay.
I'm kind of tempted to make a pause and go eat, and then we discuss the spam topic.
Yeah, okay. If you want, we can finish the Elementus and then we can make a pause.
Yeah, maybe it's better because otherwise I would end up eating at like midnight.
Okay.
Yeah, I will be quick. Don't worry. Yeah, moving on to nature. I think the most interesting for sure. Common Twigum is one of the only common that it's worth to use. I really like
Mm-hmm.
it. I play him a lot with Aquarion and also sometimes with Cat Bunny, and it performs decently for common. Dark Flower Pillar is kind of underrated, but it's decent to good. Probably good, I would say, at least on paper. I don't play it, so I can't really say it, but looks good. Kelpa is something that people sleep on, but I think it would perform decently for a rare. Tons of HP. It's good to reset the speed and to eat fire snipes. The confuse is really good, and also in 1v1 it's really annoying because it starts healing and stacking defenses, and if you don't have a fire or you spam or lower his accuracy or something like that, it's really annoying 1v1.
Mm-hmm.
Pachkin is really interesting but needs new relics. Dark Elefauna is really good. Really good, but lacks negate, so he will have the issue to be situational. But the situation where she can just go, it's really, really good. Then Mama also is a bit underrated. Even without the new relics, Mama can perform. Simply because of the double spam, and her kit is really amazing to trade. But yeah, with new relics, I think Mama will be meta. I can already see
Wait,
it.
there is gonna be new relics?
Uh, I mean, they talking about making hybrid relics. So I think
Okay.
Mama will be meta
Yeah.
if they come out. Pambo is really, really good. Probably the best nature rare. Yeah, for sure. Then we have Skashi. Skashi is the best nature of the world. I
Who the
mean,
fuck is that?
Flurfy.
Ah.
Draw plays it a lot, and he deals insane damage for the dog shit stats he has and the dog shit numbers. But nah, it's
Yeah.
just dog shit. But I wanted to mention it because draw once. I mean, it wasn't draw; it was Matrix from draw account. I was fifth in leaderboard, and he took me 200 points away, winning with fucking Fluffy. Crazy. Then we got Splendor, which is always a good counter pick. Defilio is dead. Bicab mid pack. And Light Zaptor looks good to punish some situation, but if you can't punish those situations, it's dog shit. So situational, but interesting. Light Quirk looks mid. And Light Twig I'm probably arguably the best nature right now, but I don't know, he lacks negate, so it's risky to point that, but for sure super solid. Light Krabian, just Cat Bunny Eater. Dark Tulipini, interesting, good crit for sure. Dark Quirk, I don't know. I don't know, looks mid. Beflower always playable, always good. And
Yep.
the new nature crit looks good also.
Yep, it does, yeah. It looks interesting and it has negate as well.
Yeah. Moving
What
into
about Snatcher,
wins.
Joe? People don't
Snatcher.
play it anymore.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is not a crit, it's just bleed.
Yeah,
It's
I think
bleed.
this was one of the most overrated crits in the Miscrit history ever.
I mean, if you want to punish someone without healing, or you have a good anti-heal synergy with something, it's a good crit. The value he brings as a common and with this shit that spread is insane. But it's
Yeah,
situational because if people can heal out, you're playing with one less crit. It's literally dog shit if you can't stack bleed and play like that. Moving into wins, I think Holy same thing as Nature, but it's way better in the 1v1 scenarios. Then Monkey is really solid right now. And it's also really hard to punish even with lightnings because it's so tanky. Then we
yep,
have Common Flatterpat, which is interesting. I would like to try it out. I think it will perform decently. Winneberg also is not a bad option. I think he deals really good damage. Fangli is super underrated, in my opinion. It's a good crit. Pepsi also is good, simply because of their refresh. And I noticed that when you play Aquarion and you have a Pepsi against, it's pain. It's pure pain. It's really annoying to face. Bonshi is really, I mean, it's solid, not really good. It's solid. He does really good job overall. Then Octavio, same thing as Bonchi, really solid, really annoying, really solid. Nana Slug is simply, what a sniper, so it's meta. But his wind side is kinda pointless. Sometimes it's more of a weakness than a strength, but it just depends on the meta. The
yep.
crit himself is good. Then Foil Wisp is really good right now. Really
Yeah, by the way,
painful.
not that many people are using it.
Slowly they're starting to use it. I'm meeting a lot of people playing it. So I think in a couple weeks everyone will have one. And
Yep.
it's strong, it's strong. Then we have Dark Flowerpot, which is always a good crit, always a good option. Uh, Dream Cherry is interesting, for sure.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing as Blighted Cup, but he is rare.
Yeah, I mean, with a bit less of damage, but yeah, I can see it
Yeah,
being painful. Then that Windy also is a bit slept on. I think he's missing a small buff to make him good, but he got a really big amount of buffs lately, and I haven't tried, so I can't really talk. But it looks interesting, but also looks that he's missing something. And then Light Snorkel's simply outdated. He would, I mean, he had his time, so I think it's okay to be. It's not unplayable, but it doesn't shine. Let's just say that.
yeah,
Then moving into
I agree.
Earths, I think Sledgehog is literally the best one of them. It's literally, I don't even know how to properly answer to Sledgehog. It's really annoying to me personally. And overall, his stats are good. His numbers are good. His kit is good. He has negate. It's an epic, so it's not even that expensive. I think it's really good. Then Drill Dent also is decent for a common. He does his job. You can play it with Cacto and just reset the speed or sacrifice or, make some good damage on 1v1. Then Dark Croaky is still a good option if you want to spam, and if the opponent doesn't have an answer to Dark Croaky, it's gonna deal a good job. Dark Eggy luckily got his nerf, and I think it's still interesting, but it's kinda hard to to put him in a situation where he can shine.
Yeah, especially after the nerf, yeah.
Common Bludger, as we said before, is underrated, and I think it could be decent. GOG is really strong in my opinion because of the hard drive. I saw Mihir winning games without even using hard drives. So crazy value. I think GOG is really good.
Yeah, he gave
And
an insane kid as well.
yeah.
Insane stat distribution.
And the problem with Raldio and Gemix, I think if you play on Earth, just go for a physical. Doesn't make sense to play any elemental unless it's Cat Bunny, and even Cat Bunny is not that good. So that's a bit of a problem with Earth. The best one of them are physicals.
Yep.
But for elementals, I think Dark Rook is decent. Cat Bunny is a good option. And Gemix Heraldio for sure no. Foil Fossili I think doesn't look really good. Opigum just got nerfed, and I think it's still playable, but for sure it's not good. Then we have Splendor, but it's not even really an Earth, it's more of a nature. Light Bludger is kind of underrated. Same for Foil Vexi. I don't see people playing it, but I think the crit is not bad. Then I would say also Dark Auger is a bit underrated.
Bro, shut the fuck up.
Bro, I swear. He has bleed. He has a lot of HP even if he doesn't really have good defenses. But if you build him full tank and you can abuse the bleed, it's good because you will deal good damage because also he has 5 PA. He has Stump. You will abuse the bleed if you can. And at the very last moment, you will just nuke. It's playable. It's playable in my opinion. Not in PA maybe, but I can see him punishing some comps in a tournament, for example. But it's really
Yeah, also
weird
that
crit.
75.
Then Light Dixie
Also that.
also it's bleed, simply bleed, and I mean it's more than playable. But if bleed has value, Light Dixie has value. That's how it works. And Dark
Yep.
Tongotail I think still solid option. It just deals damage and doesn't care about anything. Rudy also decent to good, but probably more decent than good. And I think that's it for Hertz.
Yep. I agree. Nothing to add.
And if we move to Lightning, I think normal Kilray is interesting but missing something. Because
Yeah, maybe
having
the two
Confuse and
speed.
Sleep, it's interesting, but he's missing something.
Yeah.
Same issues with the other commons, it's 2 speed, and in order to be a good common, he must have 1 speed bar. That's the sad reality.
Yeah.
Then Dark Hillary, obviously. After I cooked the buff for him, he became really used. And I don't think it's that good, but I can see him being really solid and versatile. He can do
Yeah.
good shit in a lot of scenarios. Then Boltzy is slept on. Boltzy is good. Boltzy can be good. Let's say that can be good in the right moment, and I think he
Yeah,
could
5
perform
speed,
well.
5 EA.
Yeah. Also, Valentino can be something better. Now that he has voltage, I think it's kind of underrated, as Taga said. Dark Arigato, I think it's still playable. We don't see any Dark Arigato anymore, but I think the crit is playable anyway. Papa will be good in my opinion after they will add some hybrid relics. Narlop is probably the best Thunder common. Without wait, there's Felis, so it's not the best Thunder common, but close to it, close to it.
Yeah.
Then Nero still more than playable in my opinion. Tons of damage. Felis is the best crit in the game, so I don't even mention it. Podo is also super solid. I really like Podo.
Yeah, he is a very interesting choice, yeah.
Yes. I don't know about Skelepop. He got buffed recently, but I have to try it, but it looks playable. Maybe after the hybrid relics, it would be good again. I don't know, but for sure looks interesting. Foil Thundercracker is really good to punish in a tournament.
Yeah, I agree. That crit is
Yeah,
very
it's
interesting, especially
scary.
about tournament.
It's really scary if you meet him in a tournament and the guy knows what's happening. You know what's he's doing. It would be a really tricky matchup. But also he's an exotic, and there are a lot of crits that can do the same shit without being so expensive. So I don't know,
Yeah,
but looks really dangerous in the right moment. Then Foil Killer, I received a buff, but I don't know, it's weird. He received a weird buff. Now he's one speed bar, and I don't know if it's decent for sure. I have to try it to speak, but
I mean
interesting.
his P attack is useless.
Yeah, but he has 3 points on a useless thing, and also a move that has a huge AP for being useless. You feel me? It's super weird.
Yeah, weird crit.
We have Blub, that interesting also for a common. It's really interesting. Then Dorks is really good in my opinion. Light Zaptor, same as we said for the natures, is situational, and if he can't snipe the elements he wants, it's not good. Then Liotning is really good. Liotning is really solid. He doesn't really have issues because he has still 3 bars of elemental defense, and people always, I mean, usually not always, run the Bean as a level 10 relic, level 20 relic, which is really good. And the crit overall looks really good.
Yeah, that crit is insane.
Yeah,
Even against Cat Bunny, if he snipes you, you can just use Poison Murder, and after that he can water, and you can negate, and
yeah, you can do a
this
lot of
looks
things
insane.
really good. Then Light Igneous, as we said, for the fires, it's good in this meta for sure. Um, even there, if I mean, it's better than Light Zaptor for sure because simply of the negate, and also the fact that if you start missing against Light Igneous, he will just fuck your ass so bad. Like he will dog walk you. So you know it's kind of a coin flip because of the miss, but most scenarios he will he will do shit. You feel me? He will never be. I mean, it's really rare that a Light Igneous will be useless the whole battle. That's it. And then we have Dark Luna, which is good to punish, you know, similar to Thundercracker, but as I said, there are crits that costs less and do the same thing, and Dark Luna is one of them. Foil Luna is just a spam machine that luckily people sleeps on it, because also he has only Confuse, and people runs Confuse immunity. But I can see it built full tank just to spam Confuse and then use the final move and then switch out. I think it would work, but luckily no one plays it. Then we have Manio, that I think it's kinda mid, but it's the same issues of
Yeah,
every hybrid. And the new crit, I think it would work as a lightning sniper. It looks good, simply because of the confuse. Like to talk about it's for sure the spam system right now, and not only the spam system but also the consequences that it has for the players, for the PA, and for the leaderboard, and so for the environment in general. I would start saying that we had a bigger problem months ago when Minato didn't even join the team yet. I think the spam back then was completely unbalanced because it was extracted by a random value. Oh, sorry, the telephone. Give me a second. I think it was completely unbalanced because simply it was extracted by a random value, no manipulation at all. It would happen to miss 7 confused in a row and to hit 7 in a row. So very weird and unbalanced. And first thing Minato did when he joined the team was to give bot players the possibility to hit spam, the same possibility to hit spam, um, but they don't know their position in their cycle, so the 40% cycle, and they can't really control it, but they can manipulate it. So he introduced a minimum amount of skill in that, and a sort of balance. This lead to consequences though, because what happens right now is that you will win games that you're not meant to win, because maybe you did mistakes or because the matchup simply was bad for you, but you start spamming and you end up winning a game that you're not allowed to win, which kind of makes sense in a counter matchup. But let's say you played dog shit and you made some mistakes and then you hit complete confusion and you just win, or deep sleep because the opponent has confuse immunity and you made a perfect switch and whatever, no? And you will win a game that you're not meant to win. You don't deserve it because the opponent played really better. He did zero mistakes. You did one or two, let's say. But also, this will balance out because you also will lose a game that you're not meant to lose. So you played better than your opponent, but your opponent spammed and you end up losing. So this kind of balance itself in game terms. It means that sometimes you win because of spam, sometimes you lose. But from the perspective of a player, it will just lead to frustration. Today, for example, in my clan, in Phoenix Clan, we had basically all the top players, me, Sami, Paparazzi, etc. We were all tilted due to spam. And I was thinking about, why are we really that mad? Everyone is feeling frustrated. You go arena chat and everyone is frustrated. Oh, you hit 2 out of 2, you did this, you did that. The consequence of this thing is that the game maybe is balanced in a way that, again, you win and you lose due to it. But from the perspective of player, it is just frustrating. It leads to frustration because when two good players meet up in PA and none of them has a counter comp for the other one, so it's, let's say, a skill matchup, it doesn't matter the skill, the luckiest one will just win. It's a fact, It's not even an opinion, it's not something that you can control it just like that. The guy that will hit the Confuso that will have the best cycle will win. It doesn't matter immunities because now everyone plays both sleep and confuses, and you can't cover both because that's simply how it works. And I think it's good to not give the option to cover both because that wouldn't resolve the problem. And that's a big problem because it leads to frustration. So what happens is that you will never feel satisfied for your win because for your win when you don't really deserve it, because sometimes you don't admit it, but sometimes you win because of spam. You were just a lucky bastard and you don't really feel that satisfaction that, oh my god, I played better than you and I win. And that sucks. That ruins the game, and it's frustrating. Simply, it's frustrating. I think because the first step is to point out the problem, which is that, and I think everyone agrees that PA is frustrating simply because of that. You win if you're lucky, and it's linked to the leaderboard thing if you think about it, because winning means gaining points. And so let's say you meet a top player, you know that he's, let's say, top 10 and you're top 40, and you just spam him. The spam hits and you get a luckier cycle than him. You win and you're getting 200 points, and that's completely undeserved. And maybe you're entering top 10 with only that single win, but you didn't really do anything. You just got a lucky matchup, you feel me? And so this spam system like that ruins both the fun of the game, because it's frustrating both to win or to lose, I swear. And then kind of ruins also the concept of leaderboard, because the top guys are kind of the luckiest guys, and as you can see, no one can really stay top 10 for long because he will get spammed and he will get back to top 30 or something, and that kills the whole concept. And so this is the problem, and I want to point out that there are solutions, and one solution could be remove spam forever, but many people would say it wouldn't work because it's part of the game, etc., which I kind of agree. So I think that's not really a good solution. You can't simply remove every spam move. But what What the developer, yes, what the developers can do is that uh, they can add more variety to the gameplay. I think adding new mechanics and skills is literally the way to resolve this problem. Because, for example, now I'll give you a couple examples. Uh, if you, for example, add some secondary effects even to the other moves. So imagine a bash that also cleanses you, or a Mother Nature that also puts anti-heal and stuff like that. And you balance it out simply adding so many effects and so many things, and slowly removing the confuse or limiting it, not removing it from everything, but maybe keeping it as a secondary effect in moves. But many of those crits simply lose the confuse ability, and you just let some miscrits have this confuse and sleep ability by himself, but you balance it out with some stats with what's required. In that way, I feel like it's mathematic that in a system when you increment the numbers of variables, it will just lead to more combinations, and more combinations simply means that you will have more scenarios. Having more scenarios means that you will be less likely in a counter matchup because the scenarios are so full of variables that it's really hard to enter in a situation where, oh, I don't have a way out, I'm countered, because you will have so many options. And so that leads to not really needing a spam, but you will have other things to do, other moves to hit, because right now it just hit, switch, or spam. You have three options. And instead it would be good to have a lot of variety, and this will simply lead to the game being more funny, less frustrating, and especially more skill requirement, because when you have so many variables, when you have so many things to do, you will also have to implement some strategy. That's what I think about the spam system right now, and I think it's a really hot topic because we all agree that there's a problem, but no one can really point a solution. And I think that's the best solution. The thing is that I said it in general, and it's not that easy to make because only two developers for literally remaking the world battle system, adding so many effects and so many things, it's really hard. But I think, for example, a committee can be made and can decide how to fix it, and add those effects and make it better. Simply, that's what I think about spam system right now.
Yeah, I agree about the looking game. I've been talking it about 5 months, but yeah, also about the spam. First, I can say that I agree with you. For me, double immunity should never be a thing
Yeah.
because if your opponent bring a counter team in platinum in plat arena and you don't have a choice to use confuse or sleep, you don't have any chance for winning, and that's unfair because in Plat Arena there is a thousand of players, and you can think of a counter to every team. Now that's of course a different scenario in a tournament where you require a skill to counter your opponent, and of course that's different, but. Tournament is not the main thing in the game. I agree that double minute should never be a thing. About the effects, that's a new idea that's never been talked about. I think in a Arena chat, skills like Bash or Gazer to have secondary effects. I think this will be pretty fun, and
Yeah.
will bring how I can say it, a lot more situational combos and
Yeah.
new paths that you can enter, but this is a very hard to make because there is a 250 crits,
Yes.
and it doesn't matter how many are the people in the balance team because you have to think of every skill for every crit. If you do that to one crit, what will happen to the other? So maybe this idea can be implanted, but slowly. So let's say
Yeah, I
one
agree.
month, 1 month, 20 crits are decided. They are not put it into the game. They're just write it down. Then the next month, 20 crits decided like that, and once when everything is done, The devs can put it and change the game completely.
I
But
agree.
you say that a lot of players know that they are winning by luck and don't say it. That's very true. But a lot of players are winning because they play like a dog shit and they are saying that the game is the one that made them lose. Like they didn't get lucky or something, or that the opponent got lucky.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the current system just led to frustration. Uh, so there are many types of frustration. Some people get frustrated and say it's spam. Some other people say it's the game that is scripted in a way that everyone has his own opinion. And when you're frustrated, you kind of lose the capability of reasoning. So you just let your emotion go through and tilt and rage. So I think that whatever people thinks that is simply linked to the same emotion, which is frustration, which is anger, I think that's enough to say that we have a problem. I mean, I also want to say that it's kind of easy to say okay, we have a problem, etc. And then you have to point out a solution. And also the game is not even completed yet; they're still working on it. So it kind of makes sense that the game is not perfect. But I think, and I always said this to GK and probably also to Minato, but to GK especially, that the PvP system should always be the priority on the game, because PvE or whatever mechanic you add will have a start and a finish. Meanwhile, PvP is infinite, you feel me? If you just put the leaderboard and the arena, player can play infinitely. There's not uh, an objective. There's not an ending. It's just playing, competing, climbing leaderboard. Then you will drop, and then you will return. Then you want to make the record of points, and you stimulate people to always play, and there will be an end. And I think that's why PvP should always be the priority. So I think that the current system needs several changes, and I don't think many times should pass, because having a good PvP system makes the game immortal. That's for sure. And we also have
Yeah,
to
also
give
the
it up.
PvP is the reason.
Yeah,
The
sorry,
PvP is the reason
I want
people are
to.
buying plats and shit.
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Simply because of first of money issues, because people that plays competitive plays PvP and can spend money will spend money, which is something that also is good for the devs. And in order to make it, I think we have to dip the idea of this game being the OG, or as much similar as the OG as possible, you feel me? I think that the OG was a game that was meant to work more than 10 years ago, and it actually didn't really work that well, because, there's no need I talk about it. And I think Miscrits have so much potential if we just bring it to another level. And bringing it to another level needs to accept the fact that OG needs to be um, surpassed. You feel me? Needs to be improved, but in several ways and in really heavy ways, not just some changes, something small, or no potion CPA. Okay, it's just too much. No, I think we really need something new, literally a new game. And in this way, I can see Miscrit surviving like many years, more than 10 years. Because right now, with the current system, I wouldn't really think that he would survive that long. That's why I think we really need a level up, but a level up for real, not small changes.
Yeah, yeah, I fully agree with you. For me, of course, the PvP is the most important thing in the game, even if people don't like it or no.
Yeah.
PvP is the most important thing in the game, and in order, I've been saying it for months, in order to PvP to be saved, because you know how many people when they get mad, they say that they quit, but after 2 days they return. That
Yes.
won't happen. That won't happen for long. They will do that 3 or 4 times, and in the fifth time they will quit for real. And um, um, we can't afford to lose players like this. We're not League of Legends or something to have 500 million players.
Yeah.
Of course, that's not the number, but but that's how I say it. But in order for the PvP side to be saved, there needs to be a really big step up.
Yeah, I
With
agree. I fully agree.
of course, with a lot of discussion, because that will mean change the game entirely forever. I also think that OG should never be, at least for PvP, not for PvA, should never be taken as example of how it was before.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
We should not we should not never make it like OG, and not taking any, well, let's say 90% of what the OG was. But yeah, I think the game needs a big step up, really big step up,
Yeah.
in the PvP side, of course.
Yeah, I
In
agree.
PvA, they are doing great. They are releasing careers, grids, everything. But in the PvP side, that's not okay.
Yeah, I agree. I fully agree.
Also, another thing, a lot of people are memeing it about it, but I really think that luck should never be, or at least not like now, should never be like that in PvP. So I want to talk about the accuracy fucking damage, because I think if one day the devs decides to take that big step, because this is a very big step to change the PvP, I think we should consider make every damage move to be 100 accuracy, or if more, but with balanced damage. So, for example, let's just say Nessie have 30 AP skill, but 100 accuracy, but another crit have 100 accuracy, but minus 10 accuracy in his effect, but it should have less AP. I think like that the game will be balanced, because it's not normal for me to miss damage moves without your opponent doing anything in order for you to miss that move. And only because the game fucked you. I don't know if you agree, but I really think
I
that.
think, yeah, I see the point that you're making, but I think it's more complicated than that because it actually links to the thing that I was saying about incrementing the number of variables in the system, and right now it kind of, I mean, you kind of got a point, but uh, imagine, as I said before, that every move is a unique move, or it's has a particular effect. Um, let's say Claw is a multi-hitter, so it hits 3 times, and then there's another move that is 10 AP and lowers accuracy by 5. Everything with a secondary effect. I think in that way, also the accuracy would be balanced. I think having 100% on basically every move is a good thing to do because you have to control the variables and not manipulate it like the spam. You have to have the complete control of it in order to make the game skill expressive. And so I kind of agree with you, but I also think that it's good sometimes to, especially in clutch situations, to put the player in the situation where, okay, do I gamble the miss and I just hit bright lights, or do I attack? You know,
Yeah, fair point.
but you
Fair
have to
point.
give up something to take the risk, and sometimes you will feel satisfied that it will work, the opponent will miss, sometimes no, but I think you have to kind of give something up to make it happen, because otherwise it obviously leads to unbalance.
Yeah, I fully agree, but the thing I meant is, let's say you start your game with Dark Hole area, and your opponent have whatever, and you click his last move and you just miss. That brings like 100% advantage for your opponent for not doing anything. That's my problem.
Yeah, I
I
kind
I
of see
don't
it.
understand why it should be like that.
I mean, the thing is similar to the spam system. It is balanced by the fact that also the opponent is in the same situation. But it's not a balance for the
Yeah.
players or for the single situation. It's an overall balance that works, let's say, in 100 games. And you say, okay, in 100 games, this will be fair because both players have missed around the same amount of moves. Okay, but in the single game, what can happen? In the single game can happen that the guy that is sniping for 150 damage is gonna miss the move, meanwhile the other guy doesn't. And
Yeah.
that's not balanced. It's balanced in 100 games, okay, I agree because, it's mathematic, it's not even an opinion. But in the single game, it leads to frustration. It's the same concept of the spam system. So that's why I think the game needs a complete refresh because everything is it's okay because in game wise it's balanced. It makes sense that it's like that, but it's not enough.
That's it from today episode, guys. I think me and Charles had a very good discussion. Let me know in the comments what you think about this episode, and let me know who you guys want to be the next guest. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and until the next time.